Welcome wherever you are watching us from around the world. This is Nigeria Super Fans Forum, the best football show in Africa. I'm the host, and my name is Olafemi Ashalu. Sorry, we have to do this from home today. James Agberebi joins me. James, you're welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Femi. Always a pleasure.
All right. Okay, so there is no better place to start than to quickly go to Algeria, where the 2023 CHAN tournament is taking place right now. Things are already taking shape. Thank God that the Black Galaxies have qualified for the quarterfinals after, of course, the 3 points from Morocco. You know, remember that Morocco pulled out of the tournament. So in Group C, of course, Madagascar finished with 9 points and the Black Galaxies with 6 points. So the Black Galaxies, they're making the quarterfinals, I think, for the third time now. They are third time of AFCON. So we'll be talking about that, and of course the matches that will be taking place today, and we'll give you the fixtures for the quarterfinal period. Of course, there are matches today. So quickly we'll take the fixtures for today. We'll be having Mauritania, Mali, and of course Niger Republic and Cameroon. And James, of course, the Black Galaxies. You remember we talked about them in the last show, and we were actually optimistic, particularly you, that they were going to qualify, and they did that already. Thank God for the 3-1 win over Sudan in the second game after losing 2-1 to Madagascar in the opening game, and they will be facing either Niger or Cameroon. James, I think I'll be praying for the Black Galaxies to get maybe Niger, because I feel Cameroon is going to be like another derby. But I'm praying that at least they will meet the Niger Republic, so that I think we want to see the Black Galaxies in the semifinals.
Yeah, Femi, just like what I said in our previous edition, I remember I told you that the Black Galaxies are going to qualify, and that came to pass. And I think that also boils down to the fact that points and goods were shared to the other teams. Fortunately for the Black Galaxies, the points and the goals counted positively for them. I didn't. While for Sudan, nothing changed. They were well up 3-0 against Madagascar. You know, I was surprised because I thought with the kind of the way the Sudanese league is being run, I thought they have the qualities, the players to showcase themselves in this.
We expected more from them. More from them.
I'm surprised that even Madagascar, they even topped the group. You know, so. Like I said, a good one for Madagascar, also a good one for the Black Galaxies. They were able to recover from the opening day defeat to Madagascar. They were able to bounce back, you know. So it goes to show that now they are warming into the competition. And just like what you said, if now that they've qualified for the quarterfinals, they are likely to meet Cameroon or Niger Republic. I know the two teams will play today to decide who come tops. You know, Cameroon, you know, they are just like in the group, the Black Galaxies found themselves. Cameroon, Niger Republic, and Congo Brazzaville, they were the only teams in Group E. So it was just a 3-team group. Cameroon defeated Congo Brazzaville 1-0, and Congo Brazzaville drew with Niger Republic. You know, so the game between Cameroon and Niger Republic today now is to know who will top the group. You know. So for me, the way it's going, I don't know. It's looking likely that Ghana will meet Cameroon, which I didn't really love that pairing because it's coming from with Black Galaxies. They are warming into the competition, and no matter how good, talented your squad is, there are some things you just have to avoid in the early stages of any major tournament. You know, as if the Black Galaxies are not good enough to beat Cameroon. You know. So, but sometimes you just have to avoid the big teams first. You know, so for me, since it's looking like
that's why you need to top your group.
Exactly, you know. So, but it is, you have to take whatever that is put in front of you, and I believe the workouts team they have what it takes to, even if they meet Cameroon, I believe they've warmed up into the competition, especially that defeat against Madagascar. I think they have spurred them on now. They have brought out the best in them. They're able to showcase that against Sudan. So I believe they will meet Cameroon, and I believe and they have what it takes to overcome Cameroon.
Okay, James, apart from Algeria, who are hosting this tournament, of course, they have 9 points. We saw Madagascar. I think for me, they had the surprise package of the tournament because they finished with 9 points, though they didn't play their third game because of Morocco pulling out. But if you saw the last game against Sudan, the way they swept the Sudanese aside, 3-0 first half, they blew the Sudanese away completely. And I think they have all it takes to go all the way in this competition.
Yeah, I think they came as a surprise. Nobody gave them a chance, especially when they defeated the Black Galaxies.
And it is their debut. It is their debut. They're making their debut in CHAN.
I remember it was in 2019 AFCON when they were paired with Nigeria, Guinea, and Malawi. They qualified alongside the Super Eagles. I think they even topped the group, if I'm not mistaken. So they are a team that are full of surprises. When you didn't expect much from them, that's when they spring up and they do something. So for me, well, this is the group stage. Whatever you do in the group stage, it counts for nothing when you get to the knockout stage. So all eyes will be on them. I won't be surprised if they don't really go far, because whoever is going to come up against them is going to be
We have the hands full, right?
have the hands full, because they know that this team defeated the Black Galaxies, and for a team to defeat the Black Galaxies, that team was very good. So whatever they're going to meet, it's going to be a hell of a fight. They have a big fight on their hands. I won't be surprised if they don't go beyond the quarterfinals, because all eyes will be on them. Everything now will take them very serious. You know that if you allow this team to play, they're going to hurt you. So for me, so far they are the surprise team, and let's see how they progress in the competition. Whether they're going to go far, we have to wait and see.
Okay, I think it is very interesting because I think it is a pointer or an indicator that Madagascar football is actually growing and developing. Right, yeah. And of course, it is where the former. Okay, let's quickly talk about the fixtures for the quarterfinal fixtures now. We're having Algeria versus Ivory Coast. I think Ivory Coast, they will have a lot of job to do. And we're having Ghana versus Cameroon or Nigeria Republic. Of course, we talked about that. And to be Senegal versus winner of Group D. Of course, that game will be played today, and it will be between Mauritania and Mali. And of course, we have Madagascar versus Mozambique. On paper, I think Madagascar, they have the game already. James, let's talk about Eddie Nketiah now. I'm sure you're still reeling from that 3-2 victory over Manchester United. And we'll be talking about something that happened in Uganda. And I'm sure when you read that, you were like, wow, what the hell? Because we heard that a number of Arsenal fans in Uganda were arrested. But let's talk about Eddie Nketiah. He scored 7 goals in 7 games now for the Gunners. And it doesn't even make Nketiah miss Gabriel Jesus, who is still out injured. But let's talk about him now. The GFA has been on his case now, trying to maybe persuade him to switch his nationality. But the young man has said that he's willing to wait until his time comes to play for the English national team, the senior national team now, because he's played for the youth level. James, do you think the Black Stars or the GFA should do more now to further persuade him? And quickly, after that game, Gary Neville, former Manchester United defender, he made a case that Eddie Nketiah is ripe for the national team. But you and I know that it is going to be very difficult for him, because when you have the likes of Harry Kane, you have Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney didn't even make the World Cup squad. Yeah. So do you think the GFA should do more now to persuade? I don't want to say to beg, but do you think they should do more now to persuade Eddie Nketiah? Maybe to even paint the picture to him that it's going to be difficult for you to get a chance with the Black Stars. But when you come to Ghana do not even have, Inaki Williams does not even have a competitor right now.
For me, I think Eddie Nketiah right now will be a good addition to the Black Stars. But if somebody like Eddie Nketiah didn't really push to be in this Black Stars squad to the World Cup, he speaks volumes. I think he's still not seen that ambition of playing for the Three Lions of England. He's the current top scorer on under 20 level for England. So I think he's still eyeing a place in the.
And I think he was given. Sorry to cut. It was given an award by the English FA a few weeks back, just to acknowledge him. And there are reports that it's just to ensure that he doesn't change his mind about playing for the national team.
Yeah. So for me, I think Eddie's mind is tilted towards playing for England. The way I'm looking at him, because like I said, for somebody to not really push to be in the Black Star squad for the World Cup, it goes to show that he's not seen that ambition of playing for England. So there's nothing bad if the GFA should push for him to play, but they shouldn't go to the extent of trying to beg him to play for the Black Stars. If he's not from his mind, they should just let him be. The likes of Tariq and the likes of Inaki, they came down, they showed that they really want to play for the Black Stars.
And Ransford, the young man Ransford.
Exactly. So all these guys, they showed commitment. They said, okay, they wanted to play, and they did. So in this case for Nketiah, they should persuade, they should approach him, but not to the extent of trying to beg him to go to England and start pleading, to start begging. The reason why Nketiah is even playing now is because Arsenal's main number 9, Gabriel Jesus, is currently injured. That was why Nketiah had the opportunity of starting games, and is taking his opportunity well, and he's doing very well for himself. But even at that, Arsenal still have to go to the market and get another forward player, because you cannot rely only on just one striker. The season is a marathon, not a sprint. So for me, Nketiah will be a good addition if he ends up playing for the Black Galaxies. I keep saying Black Galaxies, but the Black Stars.
Black Stars.
But not to the extent of going on your knees to start begging him to come and play. So just like what I said, I think Eddie's head is to play for England, because I think he's bidding his time. Just if Arsenal to go on to win the Premier League and he contributes heavily in the success, I won't be surprised if eventually he plays to start playing for England, because they're already sitting in that line. The English coach, Gary Southgate, was at the Emirates. Guy level 2 is already having his own voice. I know all this ex-international, when they start talking and putting slight pressure, I mean, the player you are just making it easy for the player. So for me, if you play for the Black Stars, good for them, but I don't see him choosing Black Stars as the first choice.
Okay, but do you think Gary Southgate might think of maybe giving me a cap now? Because I realize that once a player is capped, I don't know, even there is a FIFA law that says that if a player has not played for a particular nationality more than a certain number of times and is within a particular age, he can still switch his nationality. But I believe that with what we saw on Saturday against Manchester United, I think Gary Southgate might think of giving a cap now, because very soon I know Euro Championship qualifiers will be underway. Again, James, I think this also speaks volume about how we organize ourselves in Africa, because look at Michael Olise, of course, former NFF president, Amaju Benfipini, has also met with him and persuaded him to play for Nigeria, but the young man is still fixated on playing for the Three Lions, because he's eligible to play for England, France, even Algeria, I learned. Algeria, yeah. So he's eligible to play for 4 national teams. But I think that also speaks volume to how we are in Africa. Because when you have a number of players, like we have Gabriel Jesus, we have Nedum Onoa, we have Tam Abraham right now, we have Fikao Somori. These are players who wanted to play for the Three Lions, but they didn't get the chance. You will think that this would be enough examples for these players to say, I'm going back to my motherland to play. But despite this, they still remain adamant that they will play for England.
Femi, sometimes you need to respect people's views. I know these guys, they were not born and brought up here. So sometimes the mentality, and sometimes some of the things they normally hear back home here in Africa. So for me, their first choice always be where they were born and brought up. So it's only when the opportunity no more there again, that's when they now think of coming back to Africa to feature for the country of their parents. So like I always say, this is just personal. The players have the final say, no matter how you try to persuade them. If it's not from the heart, it's not from the heart. So it's better they decide to choose where they want to play. Leave it to them. They are adults, So Eddie Nketiah, I just hope that he continues like this. And I pray that he eventually chooses Ghana, because even if you check out the Three Lions, there are players who are even ahead of him. You still have Hurricane there. There's Callum Wilson. There are some guys who are. Yes, you have Rashford. You have 4 players who they will look at before they even think of falling back to Eddie Nketiah. So it might just be what is it called? Backup. Even the Jimmy Vardy, who featured heavily for Leicester City and helped them to win the Premier League and even FA Cup. He never really featured for England. His prolific scoring rate was always kind of a backup. At the end of the day, he just had to just retire from international football. So Eddie Nketiah, like I said, I hope he chooses Black Stars, Ghana too. But if at the end of the day he said it's England that he wants to play for, all well and good for him.
Okay, and still talking about the GFA president, Mustafa Usif, has said that initially they said it's going to be before the end of January, but he has said that they will do all the can to ensure that they appoint a coach for the Black Stars before the 2024 CHAN qualifiers resume in March. So I think the date is already shifted for the Black Stars as far as appointing a new coach is concerned. James, let's go to Uganda now, where 20 of your fellow Arsenal fans were arrested while they were making illegal trophy procession. I don't know where they found that title. I don't know who gave them that title. And I want to guess that the police chief in that town is a Manchester United fan. According to the police in
I cannot
Uganda,
prove that now. So.
you said
I cannot prove that.
Okay. I'm just insinuating. In a town called Ginger, 20 Arsenal fans were arrested while making a procession after the 3-2 victory over Manchester United. And the police said the fans, I meant to say, were moving in convoy, and that moved them. They were asked to disembark from their vehicles, and they were marched into, I don't want to say Black Maria, police van, and they were taken to the police station. I saw the pictures, and they were very funny. James, but I want to ask, why would your fellow Arsenal fans be making, they said they were making a trophy parade, because to them it seems like if you beat Manchester United and you're 5 points ahead of Manchester City, second place in the Premier League, you've won the title. And police said, no, this is illegal. And I'm still saying that the police chief in that time is a United fan, whether you agree or not, James.
I think the police did well by stopping that procession, because that's like what I read in one of the statements made by the police official, that what if that triggered the kind of unrest against the rival fans?
United fans.
Exactly. So it could cause public disturbance. So I mean, Arsenal have not won the league. It's just halfway through the season. It's just 5 points between Arsenal and Man City. So I don't understand the unnecessary procession that they carried out.
So James, you are saying it's not enough to be happy about, because nobody ever thought Arsenal would be top of the Premier League with 5 points ahead of City at the start of the season.
I mean, they're already counting their egg before it's ash. It doesn't, to me, it's just premature celebration. I mean, nobody says you cannot celebrate your victory, but I mean, you have to do it in a way that will not disturb other people. It's not everybody that loves football. I mean, that procession now, they use it to disturb other people who are going about their normal duty. It's not everybody that follows football, not everybody that is interested in the Premier League. So because your team will now win, you now start disturbing other people. And just like I said, what the police official said, that what if the kind of fight now broke out just because of a football match? I mean, because you are supporting the team that's not even from this side of part of the world. So for me, sometimes the fans they take things too far in celebrating. But Arsenal is my team, and I support them, and I wish them to win. But it doesn't mean fans will start going about doing stupid things and causing unrest, public disturbance to other people. I mean, so for me, the arrest was the right call. At least it will send a message to other fans of other clubs who want to go about disturbing the peace of the environment.
Okay, James, let's come back home now to Nigeria, where coach of the Super Eagles, Jose Pesero, is saying that he's already plotting the downfall of Morocco and Senegal ahead of the 2024 Africa Cup of Nations that will be hosted in Cote d'Ivoire. And he said that our ambition, when I signed the contract with Nigeria, the big goal and main goal is we have to win the next AFCON. But in that statement, you see Pesero just picking Senegal and Morocco because of their performances at the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. But wouldn't you think that there has to be maybe a team like Cameroon, Ghana? Even at this point, nobody can push Ghana aside. Forget the fact that they didn't do pretty well as expected at the World Cup. And also, Cote d'Ivoire, but Pesero is fixed on just Senegal and Morocco because of what he saw at the World Cup, because he was there.
Well, for me, that was the wrong selection, for teams to you see as your rivals. I mean, fine, Morocco did well for Africa. They got to the semi-final, the first ever African team to achieve that feat. Senegal, the current African champions, and last World Cup last year, they got to the round of 16. And so fine, you're not faulting for picking those two, but I mean, for him to now just restrict the selection to those two, I mean, it's going to be a big mistake. You have Cote d'Ivoire, you are going to be host. It's not going to be easy playing against them. You know how strong they are.
Ghana, sorry, James, the Ghana we saw at the 2020 World Cup, the Super Eagles cannot beat the way that Ghanaian team
played. I'm coming to that. So for him to not even pick the Black Stars, I mean, which means he doesn't really know the kind of rivalry we have with this team. So no matter how bad you want to look at Cameroon, but they didn't, as host, they only got to the semi-final of the last AFCON. I remember the last World Cup, they defeated Brazil, the first African team to beat Brazil at the World Cup. Cameroon has that record now. And Ghana too, fine. They didn't progress from the group stage, but they gave every team.
You mean Brazil team C, right? You mean Brazil team C?
They defeated Brazil. Whether it was the team C, nobody cares. So for me, I think he has a lot of hurdles to climb. If he thinks they're just going to the AFCON and walk straight to the trophy, I mean, I don't think he has been following African football. Even because he just came to Nigeria, that just felt we only have a few teams who are very good in Africa. The Super Eagles have their work cut out. Sometimes now they've not been doing so well. Playing against decent side, you've seen how they struggled. See the way they were bashed against Portugal. The same Portuguese team that couldn't. They had to strive, had to work hard to beat Ghana. And the same Portuguese team that was taken out by Morocco. So he goes to show that he needs to see them and look at the Super Eagles, how they've been faring. Anytime they come up against decent side, they always lose. They lost against Ecuador, they lost against Algeria, they lost against Mexico. Before they now capped it up with that 4-0 bashing against Portugal. So him coming out to say he's going straight to win the AFCON. Fine, nobody said the Super Eagles cannot win the AFCON. They're one of Africa's biggest teams. And if you want to judge by the performance of our players, look at the Serie A. We have Victor Osimhen, top scorer. Then followed by Ademola Lookman.
Yeah.
In the Belgium league, you have Onuachu pulling strings there. So we have guys who are doing well in their club sides, So it's now left for them to now have a solid, tactical, well-grounded coach who knits them together. Because I think one of the bans of the Super Eagles is the fact that they've not been having, they don't have that quality coach who knits them as a bunch. They're just scattered everywhere. They have Onuachu who does well for this club, but anytime he comes back to the Super Eagles, I mean, there's always a shadow of himself.
He struggles, yeah.
Fine in their club side, but once they come to Nigeria, I mean, they struggle. It's as if they're not, they're like strange bedfellows. They don't know each other, So it goes to show that it's poor coaching, So for me, like I said, he has his work cut out. He shouldn't just restrict, he shouldn't just focus on Senegal and Morocco. He has a lot of teams. He has a lot of teams to contend with. Ghana is there, Cameroon is there, Algeria is still there, Egypt is still there, So all these teams are still there. So need to just take a one step at a time. Let's see the kind of friendly games. If there's improvement in some of the friendly games and even the qualifiers, then from there we can start say, okay, maybe he has a point. But as it is now, the Super Eagles, as number one favorite to win the AFCON, I mean, I think the far cry.
Okay, thank you very much, James. Let's talk about, let's go to Ghana again. Let's talk about Asamoah Gyan. I remember you and Kyle Day on this show. You conspired against Asamoah Gyan because he wanted to play for Ghana at the 2022 FIFA World Cup because he said he's still seeking revenge against Uruguay. But you guys didn't let that happen. And he's come out now to say that he feels that Ghanaians do not appreciate him enough for what he has done. And particularly, he hasn't forgotten how for the love of his country, he had to forgo his move to Manchester City. And I quickly read a quote from him. He said, Manchester City wanted me prior to the 2008 AFCON. He said, but I missed the AFCON in 2016. So 2018 was my first, and it was being hosted in Ghana. I said my manager advised we treated it. Then I signed for Man City. But I told him I wanted to play at the AFCON because it was going to be my first. Then we all knew what happened. City went on to sign Adebayo James. Now, Asamoah Gyan is telling you guys, he's telling Ghanaians that you guys do not appreciate me enough for what I've done for you. He was the most cut player before he was overtaken by the DIU in that friendly against Switzerland before the World Cup. And I'm sure he's still the top scorer for the Black Stars now. James, do you agree with Asamoah Gyan?
I think
Ghanaians
do
not appreciate him enough for what he's done.
Femi, the truth is, you cannot be loved by everybody. I don't know whether he's expecting all Ghanaians to love him. There are those who still hold that grudge of 2010 World Cup. There are those who despite the penalty miss, they still love him. So he should just calm down and move on. I mean, it's as if he's still holding on to past. I don't know. He doesn't need all that. I mean, the way he's putting himself as if he's Ghana's greatest player. He's not. He doesn't come close. We still have greats who, despite the fact that they didn't play at the World Cup, but I don't think during their time, Asamoah Gyan will bench them. I doubt. I think I had the opportunity of watching
Not
some.
as great as Abedi Pele for the
It
Black
doesn't
Stars.
it doesn't come close to Abedi Pele. You cannot even lace the boot of Abedi Pele. Never at all. Abedi Pele was 3-time African Footballer of the Year, won the Champions League, was a key member of the Marseille team that won the Champions League in 1993. He was the AFCON winner as a 17-year-old in 1982. You know, so he was a regular feature for the Ballon d'Or FIFA World Player of the Year. They keep nominating him. Despite the fact that he didn't
And
really
he left his mark at
he
Olympic
left his
Marseille.
mark. So what is he trying to say? I mean, we have the Tony Yeboah there. He's a legend in Frankfurt, legend in Leeds United. We have Tony Bafo is there. Edward Ansah is there. Prince Upoku is there. Odate Lamptey is there. Top guys who never came out to start blabbing, shouting that they don't love them. Everybody cannot love. Even the great Lionel Messi, there are people who tell you that they prefer Maradona to Lionel Messi. So you expect Messi to kill himself because of that. So you should just move on and allow peace to reign. I mean, he's no more in the national team. All the team needs now is support from him. Nobody's going to take away his greatness. He's one of Ghana's greatest players. Fine. But this idea of they don't love you enough. I mean, you cannot force me to love you enough. If I've given you certain level of love and you feel it's not enough, well and good for you. So for me, the black they don't need any distraction.
You should drink water. You should drink water on it, right?
Yeah, you go and relax.
Okay, James, let's talk about the Ghana Premier League now. The FA Cup, the MTN FA Cup in Ghana. The game between Dream FC and Heart of Oak. Of course, Dream, they shocked Heart of Oak. Of course, they've denied Heart of Oak the opportunity of winning the title for the third consecutive time now. Heart of Oak playing at home. Of course, they lost 1-0. And excuse me, there was drama in that game because towards the end of the second half, the 9 minutes or 9 moments of the game, the referee awarded the right call to Heart of Oak. So the referee awarded a spot kick, and this guy, Benjamin York, he took the ball from Samuel Nkunku, who was originally meant to take it, but he took the ball, and the goalkeeper saved it. But the goalkeeper stepped off this line, and the referee ordered a retake. Then the Dream FC players walked off the pitch. And after so much frustration by their coach, they went back to the pitch. And Samuel Nkunku now took the penalty, and the goalkeeper saved it. And that was the final action of the game. But the most disheartening thing in that game was that in 21st century, in a competitive game, players still walk off pitch in Africa. I know you can't try that in any part of Europe. Or let's say even the top 5 leagues in Europe.
For me, I think it's because we don't do enough to clamp down on indiscipline in this part of the world. I mean, the laws are there. It's not as if we all know that as a goalkeeper, if you're about to save a penalty, there's always what the referee will always walk up to the goalkeeper to inform you that, you know, don't go beyond this, don't go beyond the line. Your foot must be there before the kick is taken. So I don't understand this because the keeper saved it. They asked them to retake it, and you're now walking off. I mean, it just goes to show that the discipline in this part of the world, I mean, it's mind-boggling. And I think they shouldn't just allow that to go scot-free. They shouldn't allow the team to go scot-free. They should punish them for that. I mean, to send a message to others that you don't do these things. I mean, we did do that if they go to international competitions. You know,
I think, James, sorry, I think we can give Dream FC players the benefit of the doubt because they didn't see the replay. We saw it because we saw the match, and we saw the replay that the referee stepped off this line. But why walk off the pitch? They have the right to maybe to some extent to protest. But why walk off the pitch?
That's the problem. You just walk up. We keep doing that in Africa, in this part of the world. So I mean, it's that time we start clamping down on indiscipline. I mean, the things that they can't do outside Africa, they keep doing it here. How do you expect the league to grow? The laws are there. Once you step up the line, I mean, they're going to retake the penalty, you know, and fortunately for them, the penalty was taken and the goalkeeper still saved it, you know. So for me, I think it's that time the league organizers start clamping down on indiscipline like this. So it's very, very important because if you don't stop, I mean, you continue to have things like this.
I think that is where we don't even take ourselves seriously, James. Even we Africans, we do not even take ourselves serious. So how do we not expect outsiders, someone like Eddie Nketiah, to even take us seriously? That is how I see things like that. Okay, James, let's talk about a few African players who might likely move in this January transfer. We know that Sofiane Amrabat is been in the news since his awesome performance for Morocco at the 2022 FIFA World Cup. So Hakim Ziyech will likely leave Chelsea in the coming days. I wish him all the best. And of course, Sofiane Amrabat was spotted last week at Camp Nou in Barcelona's 1-0 victory over at Girona. And of course, there's been a number of African players who are still moving. Victor Osimhen, there's been news that might likely move this summer. So we'll bring you everything as it breaks. James Agberebi, thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you, Femi. Always a pleasure, and we hope to do this in the studio and in the few days time now.
Yeah, of course. So, of course, I'll see you right there. So, to our viewers around the world, thank you once again. The biggest thank you goes to you for always supporting us and, of course, for coming around to view our video. So, we'll see you in the next few days right in the studio. This is the best time, the best place to leave it today. This is Naija Super Fans Forum. If you do not receive our video as soon as they drop, please click on that notification button and they'll drop right there on your lap. Until we'll see you next time, I remain Ashalulu Afemi. Bye for now.